Have you ever felt like you're in a fight with your own body? A quiet, frustrating battle that you wage every single day? You do everything you're told. You diligently check your blood sugar, you read the labels at the grocery store, you swap out the butter for the healthy spread, and you dutifully choose the whole grain bread. You are trying with every fiber of your being to do the right thing for your health, for your future, for the people you love. And yet, the numbers on that little meter just won't budge. Or worse, they creep up inexplicably, leaving you feeling defeated and confused. You start to second guess everything. You feel a flicker of that cold fear, the fear of what this means for your independence, for your ability to travel, to play with your grandchildren, to simply enjoy a meal without anxiety. It can feel like a betrayal, not just by your body, but by the very rules you were told would save you. What if I told you that much of that frustration, that confusion, and that fear isn't your fault? What if the real culprits are hiding in plain sight, masquerading as health foods? What if some of the very items you've been advised to eat are secretly fueling the fire of high blood sugar, inflammation, and insulin resistance? Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on these pervasive diabetes lies. We are going to expose 5 specific so-called healthy foods that are likely sabotaging your blood sugar control day after day. By the end of this video, you will not only know exactly what they are, but you will understand why they are so damaging. And most importantly, you will have a clear, powerful strategy to take back control. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge, and knowledge is power. I know this can be unsettling to hear, especially when you've put so much trust and effort into following the standard advice. It's natural to feel a bit of anger or defensiveness, and that's perfectly okay. It shows you care deeply about your health. The journey we're about to take together is about redirecting that care and that effort toward what truly works, cutting through the noise and the misleading labels once and for all. But before we dive into the very first food that's betraying your trust, I need to know that you are with me on this, that you are ready to challenge what you've been told and reclaim your vitality. If you are serious about taking back control of your health, take just 1 second to click that red subscribe button and ring the little notification bell. It's a small click, but it's a powerful signal to yourself that you are committed. And to make this a true conversation, let me know in the comments below. What is the single biggest health concern on your mind right now? Your voice, your experience? It all matters deeply here. We are in this together. All right, let's get straight to it. The first and perhaps most shocking lie we need to dismantle is the belief that all fruit is a free pass when you're managing blood sugar. I call this one the deceptive fruit sugar bomb. We hear it all the time, don't we? Eat more fruit, it's natural, it's packed with vitamins. And while that is partially true, it is a dangerously incomplete picture for anyone with insulin resistance or diabetes. The problem lies in a simple sugar called fructose, and how both our modern fruit and our modern bodies handle it. You see, the apple your grandmother ate is not the same apple you buy in the supermarket today. Over decades, agricultural science has bred fruit for one primary purpose: sweetness. We've selectively cultivated the varieties that are bigger, juicier, and packed with more sugar than their wild ancestors ever were. That huge seedless banana? It's a modern marvel of cultivation, and it contains far more sugar than the smaller seed-filled bananas that grew naturally. So, when we eat these modern fruits, we are consuming a concentration of sugar our bodies, especially as we age, are simply not equipped to handle gracefully. Here's what happens inside your body when you eat, say, a large banana or a big bunch of grapes. That fructose-rich sugar doesn't just float around in your bloodstream, waiting to be used by your muscles for energy, like glucose from starchy foods does. Instead, it makes a beeline straight for your liver. Your liver is like the body's main processing plant, and it has to deal with almost all the fructose you consume. A little bit is fine. The liver can handle it. But when it's hit with a massive dose from a fruit smoothie or a large bowl of fruit salad, it becomes overwhelmed. It's like a single worker on a factory line suddenly being buried under an avalanche of packages. What does the liver do with all this excess fructose it can't process for immediate energy? It does the only thing it can. It starts converting it into fat, specifically triglycerides. This process does two terrible things. First, it raises the level of fats in your blood, which is a risk factor for heart disease. Second, and more insidiously, it starts to build up fat in and around the liver itself, leading to a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. As the liver gets fattier, it becomes deaf to the signals of insulin. This is a cornerstone of worsening insulin resistance. Your pancreas has to shout louder and louder, pumping out more and more insulin, just to get the liver to listen. It's a vicious cycle, all started by something you thought was perfectly healthy. Imagine this scenario. It's morning and you're determined to have a healthy breakfast. You make a bowl of what you think is sensible oatmeal. To make it even healthier, you slice a whole banana on top and sprinkle on a small box of raisins for some extra fiber and sweetness. You feel virtuous. You're proud of yourself. Then, 2 hours later, you test your blood sugar. The number on the meter is shockingly high. You're confused, frustrated, maybe even a little angry. But I ate so well, you think. It was all natural. Shortly after, a wave of fatigue washes over you. Your energy plummets, your brain feels foggy, and you're already feeling hungry again. That's the classic blood sugar roller coaster. A massive spike followed by a dramatic crash, all triggered by that healthy fruit bomb. So, what is the solution? It is absolutely not to eliminate fruit. Fruit contains vital nutrients. The solution is to be smarter than the sugar. First, choose your fruits wisely. Swap out the high sugar, high glycemic fruits like bananas, mangoes, grapes, and especially dried fruits like raisins and dates, which are just concentrated sugar. Instead, focus on low glycemic fruits. The champions here are berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. They are packed with fiber and antioxidants and have a much gentler effect on your blood sugar. Cherries, small green-tipped apples, and pears are also excellent choices. Second, never eat fruit alone. This is a golden rule. Always pair your fruit with a healthy fat or a protein. This simple act dramatically slows down the absorption of the sugar into your bloodstream, preventing that dangerous spike. So, instead of an apple by itself, have an apple with a handful of walnuts or a tablespoon of almond butter. Instead of just a bowl of berries, have them with a scoop of full-fat, unsweetened Greek yogurt. The fat and protein act as a buffer, a brake pedal for the sugar. And finally, mind your portions. A serving of fruit should fit in the palm of your hand, not in a giant cereal bowl. By making these simple shifts, you're not depriving yourself. You are outsmarting the problem. You are giving your body the nutrients from the fruit without the damaging sugar overload. This is the first crucial step. Now, let's talk about the food group that has been championed as the cornerstone of a healthy diet for over 50 years: whole grains. This brings us to our second big lie, the healthy whole grain hoax. We've all had it drilled into our heads. Choose whole wheat bread over white bread. Eat brown rice, not white rice. Start your day with a hearty bowl of oatmeal. The marketing is brilliant. The packaging shows golden fields of wheat, happy families, and words like heart healthy, and natural, and high fiber. We buy these products, the brown bread, the whole wheat crackers, the bran cereals, believing we are making the absolute best choice for our blood sugar and our overall health. The tragic irony is that for many of us, especially as we navigate our 60s, 70s, and beyond, these healthy whole grains can be just as damaging to our blood sugar as their refined white counterparts. Sometimes they can be even worse. Here's the scientific truth that the big food companies don't want you to know. The term whole grain simply means that all three parts of the original grain kernel, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm, are present. While it's true that the bran and germ contain fiber and some nutrients, The vast majority of that kernel, about 80, is the starchy endosperm. And what is starch? It's just a long, complex chain of sugar molecules. When you eat that slice of whole wheat bread, your digestive system's job is to break down that starch. And it does its job very, very efficiently. It essentially unzips those long chains, releasing a flood of individual sugar molecules, glucose, directly into your bloodstream. To your pancreas and your liver, the sugar rush from a slice of healthy 100% whole wheat bread is remarkably similar to the rush from a slice of unhealthy white bread. In fact, some studies have shown that certain types of whole wheat bread have a higher glycemic index than table sugar itself. Think about the physical form of these products. Most whole grain products are not eaten as whole intact kernels. We don't typically boil up a bowl of raw wheat berries for breakfast. Instead, we eat grains that have been pulverized into a fine flour. The milling process, even for whole grains, dramatically increases the surface area of the starch. This makes it incredibly easy and fast for your digestive enzymes to attack and convert it all into sugar. It's the difference between trying to light a solid log on fire versus throwing a handful of sawdust onto a flame. The sawdust, the flour, erupts instantly. Let me paint a picture for you. Let's call our viewer John. John is 68, he has prediabetes, and his doctor has told him to watch his diet. So, John starts his day with a large bowl of instant oatmeal, sweetened with a little honey. For lunch, he has a turkey sandwich on 2 slices of whole wheat bread, with a side of whole grain crackers. For dinner, he has a lean chicken breast with a big portion of brown rice. He feels like a health champion. He's following the rules to the letter. But how does John feel? He feels exhausted. He gets that mid-afternoon slump where he can barely keep his eyes open. He feels bloated and his joints ache a little more than usual. And when he checks his blood sugar, it's on a constant, wild roller coaster. He feels like a failure, thinking, I'm eating so healthy, why is this happening to me? He doesn't realize that his healthy diet is actually a high-carbohydrate, high-sugar diet in disguise. He is, in effect, pouring gasoline on his metabolic fire all day long. The solution here isn't about declaring war on all carbohydrates. It's about being strategic and understanding the difference between pulverized grains and true intact whole foods. First, drastically reduce or eliminate grain flours. This is the single biggest step. This means the bread, the pasta, the crackers, the cereals, and the baked goods, even if the label screams whole grain. The flour form is the primary problem. Second, upgrade your carbohydrates. Instead of getting your carbs from grains, get them from nutrient-dense, fiber-rich vegetables. Think about things like sweet potatoes or yams in small portions, squash, parsnips, and beets. And of course, all the wonderful non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, and zucchini. Another fantastic source of healthy, slow-release carbs is legumes, beans, lentils, and chickpeas. They come pre-packaged with protein and fiber, which acts as a natural brake on blood sugar absorption. Third, if you do choose to eat grains, choose intact grains and use them sparingly. Think of them as a small side dish, not the main event on your plate. A small scoop of quinoa or buckwheat is a much better choice than a bowl of brown rice. These intact grains are digested much more slowly, leading to a gentler, more gradual rise in blood sugar. By moving away from the whole grain lie, you're not just stabilizing your blood sugar. You're reducing inflammation, you're likely to lose weight, and you will almost certainly experience a surge in sustained all-day energy. It's a profound shift. Okay, we've tackled fruits and grains. Now we need to confront a lie that has dominated nutritional advice for the last 40 years and has done immeasurable damage to our metabolic health. This is the low-fat trap. For decades, we were told a simple, compelling, but devastatingly wrong story. Fat makes you fat, and fat clogs your arteries. Therefore, to be healthy, you must avoid fat. The food industry responded with a tsunami of low-fat and fat-free products. Low-fat yogurts, fat-free salad dressings, low-fat cookies, light cream cheese, low-fat milk. It became a moral imperative to choose the low-fat version of everything. We diligently filled our carts with these items, believing we were protecting our hearts and our waistlines. The reality is that this was one of the most destructive public health experiments in history. And here is the simple, crucial secret. When you take the fat out of food, you take out the flavor and the texture. Food becomes bland, watery, and unsatisfying. So, what did the food manufacturers do to make these products palatable again? They replaced the fat with something cheap, delicious, and addictive. Sugar. They loaded these healthy, low-fat products with massive amounts of refined sugar, high-fructose corn syrup, and a whole host of artificial sweeteners and chemical fillers to mimic the mouthfeel of fat. We, as consumers, were tricked. We thought we were making a healthy choice, but we were unknowingly swapping out a natural, essential nutrient, fat, for the very substance that truly drives metabolic disease, sugar. Let's look at what happens inside your body when you fall into this trap. Healthy fats, like those found in avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, and even butter from grass-fed cows, are incredibly important for our health, especially as we age. They are essential for building healthy cell membranes, which is crucial for every single function in your body. They are required to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are vital for your immune system, bone health, and vision. Most importantly for this conversation, fat has almost zero impact on your blood sugar and insulin levels. It also promotes satiety. It makes you feel full and satisfied, turning off your hunger signals. Sugar, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. It spikes your blood sugar and insulin. It signals your body to store fat, especially that dangerous visceral fat around your organs. It provides no real nutrients, and it leaves you feeling hungry and craving more just a short time later. Think about this common scenario. Let's imagine a woman named Sarah, who is 72 and very conscious about her heart health because her father had a heart attack. She starts her day with a bowl of fat-free, fruit-on-the-bottom yogurt. She believes this is the pinnacle of a healthy breakfast. But let's look closer. That little pot of yogurt has had all its natural, healthy milk fat stripped away. To make it taste like something other than chalky water, it has been loaded with 15 to 20 grams of added sugar. That's as much as a chocolate bar. So Sarah eats her healthy yogurt. An hour later, her blood sugar is soaring. Her pancreas goes into overdrive, pumping out insulin. The insulin shoves all that sugar out of her blood, leading to a crash. By 10 a.m., she feels shaky, her mind is fuzzy, and she's ravenously hungry. She reaches for a handful of low-fat crackers to tide her over until lunch, not realizing she is just starting the whole vicious cycle all over again. She's been living this way for years, feeling constantly tired and hungry, and watching her weight creep up despite her best efforts. She feels helpless because she's doing exactly what she was told to do. She's avoiding fat, but in reality, she's on a high-sugar diet that is actively damaging her metabolism and, ironically, increasing her risk for heart disease through inflammation and high triglycerides. The solution is to completely reverse this thinking. We need to stop fearing fat and start fearing sugar and processed carbohydrates. First, embrace healthy fats. Make them a central part of your diet. Cook with extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil. Add avocados to your salads. Snack on a handful of almonds, walnuts, or macadamia nuts. Add chia seeds and flax seeds to your food. Eat fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Second, always choose the full-fat version. When you buy yogurt or cheese or milk, choose the full-fat, unsweetened option. The fat will keep you full for hours, stabilize your blood sugar, and provide essential nutrients. Read the labels. You'll be shocked to see that the full-fat plain Greek yogurt has dramatically less sugar than its fat-free, fruit-flavored cousin. Third, banish industrial seed oils. While we're embracing healthy fats, we must be ruthless about eliminating the unhealthy ones. This means oils like canola, corn, soybean, safflower, and sunflower oil. These are highly processed, inflammatory oils that are damaging to our cells. Stick to the natural, minimally processed fats I mentioned earlier. By reintroducing healthy fats into your diet, you are giving your body the building blocks it needs to thrive. You will find your energy levels stabilize, your cravings diminish, and your blood sugar becomes far easier to manage. It's about shifting from a sugar-burning metabolism to a fat-burning metabolism, which is a state of calm, sustained energy. We've talked about deceptive fruits, grains, and low-fat foods. Now let's venture into the world of convenience, a place where many well-intentioned health efforts go astray. This brings us to our fourth hidden danger, the candy bar in disguise. I'm talking about most of the protein bars, meal replacement shakes, and so-called diabetic-friendly snacks that line the shelves of our pharmacies and grocery stores. The marketing for these products is masterful. They are presented as the perfect solution for a busy life. Need a quick, healthy breakfast? Grab a shake. Feeling a mid-afternoon slump? Here's a protein bar to power you through. The packaging is often clean and clinical, sometimes even featuring a caduceus or a seal of approval, making it seem like a medical food. They use words like energy, balance, fit, and lean. For a senior who might be struggling with a smaller appetite or who simply needs a convenient option, these products can seem like a godsend. But if you turn that beautifully designed package over and have the courage to read the fine print of the ingredient list, you will often find a horror story. In many cases, these health products are nothing more than glorified candy bars or milkshakes, engineered with a little extra protein powder and a vitamin blend to justify their high price and health claims. Here's the breakdown of what's really inside. The first or second ingredient is frequently some form of sugar: corn syrup, brown rice syrup, fructose, agave nectar, or cane juice. They may use a dozen different names for sugar, but it's all the same to your liver and pancreas. To keep the calorie count down, they are then pumped full of artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, or acesulfame potassium. These chemical sweeteners are a whole other problem. While they don't contain calories, studies suggest they can still negatively impact our gut microbiome, the healthy bacteria that are essential for digestion and immune function. They can also, paradoxically, increase our cravings for sweet things and confuse our body's natural response to sweetness. Then comes the protein source itself. In cheaper bars and shakes, it's often low-quality soy protein isolate or other highly processed protein sources that can be inflammatory and difficult to digest for some people. And to hold it all together, you'll find a long list of fillers, gums, and chemical additives. What you end up with is a highly processed, chemically laden brick that can send your blood sugar on a chaotic ride and irritate your digestive system. Let's create a scenario with someone we'll call Margaret. She's 75, she lives alone, and some days she just doesn't have the energy to cook a full meal. Her daughter, meaning well, buys her a case of diabetic-friendly meal replacement shakes. Margaret starts drinking one for breakfast every morning. It's quick, it's easy, and the label says it's for people with diabetes, so it must be good for her, right? Initially, she feels okay, but after a week she notices she's feeling more bloated and gassy than usual. Her joints feel a bit achier. And while her blood sugar doesn't spike as high as it would with a donut, it still goes up, and then lingers at a moderately high level for hours, never quite coming back down to a healthy baseline. It's a slow, smoldering fire instead of a big explosion. This chronic, low-grade elevation of blood sugar and insulin is incredibly damaging over time, quietly contributing to inflammation and nerve damage without the dramatic spike and crash that gets your immediate attention. Margaret is consuming a product she trusts, but it's slowly undermining her health from the inside out. The solution is to reclaim real food even when convenience is a priority. First, become a label detective. My rule of thumb is this: if you can't pronounce the first 5 ingredients, or if it has more than a handful of ingredients in total, don't eat it. Look for sugar in all its sneaky forms. A truly healthy bar will have a very short ingredient list, typically made of whole foods like nuts, seeds, and maybe some dates for binding, which you'd still eat sparingly. Second, plan for convenient, real food snacks. Convenience doesn't have to come from a factory-sealed wrapper. A much better protein bar is a small bag of almonds and a cheese stick, a handful of walnuts and a few olives, a hard-boiled egg. These are nature's original fast food. You can prepare them in advance. Boil half a dozen eggs at the start of the week. Portion out nuts into small bags. These options provide stable energy with healthy fats and protein and zero chemicals. Third, create a better shake. If you enjoy shakes and find them easy to consume, make your own. It takes just 2 minutes. Start with an unsweetened liquid base like almond milk or even just water. Add a scoop of high-quality unsweetened whey or collagen protein powder. Add a big handful of spinach. You won't taste it, I promise. Add a tablespoon of almond butter or half an avocado for healthy fat and creaminess. And for flavor, a scoop of blueberries or raspberries. This is a genuinely nutritious, blood sugar stabilizing meal in a glass, a world away from the chemical concoctions sold in stores. By rejecting these candy bars in disguise, you're taking a massive step away from the world of processed, fake food and back toward the nourishing power of real food. And this brings us to our fifth and final lie, one that is so pervasive we often don't even think about it. It flows from our glasses and bottles every single day, completely under the radar. I call this the healthy hydration myth. I'm talking about the liquid sugars we drink, often in the pursuit of health. We've been so focused on solid foods that we forget that what we drink can be even more potent and destructive to our blood sugar control. The primary culprits here are 100% fruit juice, so-called vitamin waters and sports drinks, and yes, even diet sodas. Let's start with what seems like the most innocent of all, a simple glass of orange or apple juice. The carton says 100% pure juice, not from concentrate, no added sugar. It sounds perfect. It's from fruit, so it must be healthy. This is a direct extension of the deceptive fruit lie we discussed earlier, but it's 100 times worse. Here's why. When you eat a whole orange, you are consuming the sugar, yes, but it is encased in a fibrous matrix. You have to chew it, and your digestive system has to work to break down the pulp and cell walls to get to the sugar. That fiber is nature's built-in braking system. It slows down the absorption of the sugar dramatically. But when you juice that orange, and it takes about 3 to 4 oranges to make 1 glass of juice, you throw away the single most important part. All of that protective fiber. What you are left with is a glass of pure, unadulterated sugar water. When you drink it, there is nothing to slow it down. It hits your stomach and is absorbed into your bloodstream almost instantaneously, causing a massive, rapid spike in your blood sugar. It's like a tidal wave crashing into your liver. Your pancreas panics and releases a huge surge of insulin to deal with the emergency. This is one of the fastest ways to promote insulin resistance and fatty liver disease. Drinking a glass of apple juice is, from your body's perspective, almost identical to drinking a can of soda. Let's imagine our friend David again. He's trying hard. He gives up his morning toast with jam, but he replaces it with a big, healthy glass of orange juice alongside his eggs. He can't understand why he still feels that profound energy crash at 10:30 in the morning, leaving him foggy and irritable. He blames his age, his sleep, anything but the glass of pure sunshine he just drank, which is the real culprit behind his metabolic roller coaster. Then you have the vitamin-infused waters and sports drinks. They have an incredible health halo. They're marketed to active people, promising electrolytes, vitamins, and enhanced hydration. The reality? They are little more than sugar water with a few pennies worth of synthetic vitamins tossed in to justify the label. A standard bottle of a popular vitamin-enhanced beverage can contain over 30 grams of sugar. That's nearly 8 teaspoons of pure sugar. You would never dream of spooning 8 teaspoons of sugar into your glass of water, yet we drink these products without a second thought. And finally, the trickiest of all, diet sodas. Zero sugar, zero calories. It sounds like the perfect loophole. You get the sweetness and the fizz without the consequences, right? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Our bodies are incredibly intelligent, but these chemical sweeteners can fool them in dangerous ways. When your tongue tastes that intense sweetness from aspartame or sucralose, it sends a signal to your brain, "Attends, sugar is coming. Prepare for energy." Your body may even initiate a preliminary insulin release in anticipation. But then the sugar never arrives. This repeated cycle of false alarms can, over time, disrupt your body's finely tuned appetite and satiety signals. It can uncouple the sensation of sweetness from its caloric consequence, which can lead you to crave more intensely sweet things later on. It keeps that sweet tooth alive and well, making it harder to appreciate the subtle, natural sweetness of real foods like berries or a crisp apple. Furthermore, emerging research continues to point toward the negative impact these artificial sweeteners have on the delicate balance of our gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that are the foundation of our immune system and overall health. The solution, thankfully, is simple and incredibly effective. First and foremost, make water your primary beverage. Your body's made mostly of water. It's what it needs to hydrate your cells, flush out toxins, and keep your joints lubricated. There is no substitute. Second, if you need flavor, infuse it naturally. Make water exciting. Get a large pitcher and fill it with water. Add slices of lemon and cucumber. Add a handful of fresh mint. Crush a few raspberries or a slice of ginger and toss them in. Let it sit in the fridge. You'll have a delicious, refreshing, and genuinely healthy beverage with no impact on your blood sugar. And third, embrace unsweetened tea and coffee. Unsweetened iced tea, whether it's green or black, is a fantastic, flavorful choice. Herbal teas like peppermint, chamomile, or hibiscus can be wonderful hot or cold. And black coffee, in moderation, is also a great option that has been linked to several health benefits. The key for all of these is to enjoy them as they are, without adding sugar or sweetened creamers. You see, from the breakfast table to your afternoon snack, from your dinner plate to the very glass in your hand, these hidden sugars and deceptive foods are everywhere. But they only have power when they are hidden. Now you can see them. Now you have the knowledge to sidestep their traps. And with that knowledge, you can begin to build a fortress of true health, one simple, powerful choice at a time. So, as we've journeyed through these 5 major diabetes lies, I hope you're beginning to see the bigger picture emerge. The deceptive fruit bombs, the whole grain hoax, the low-fat trap, the candy bars in disguise, and the healthy hydration myth, they all point to the same, single, liberating truth. This isn't about fighting 5 or 10 or 20 different battles against individual foods. It's not about memorizing endless lists of good and bad. It's about understanding one foundational principle. Our bodies, especially as they age, thrive on real, whole, unprocessed food, and they are damaged by excessive sugar and highly processed ingredients, no matter what kind of healthy-looking costume they are wearing. The frustration you felt, the confusion from those blood sugar readings that made no sense, the feeling that you were doing everything right but still getting it wrong, that wasn't a personal failure. It was the result of a food environment and a set of nutritional guidelines that, for decades, have been profoundly misleading. But today, that changes. The feeling of being a victim to your diagnosis, of being powerless against a number on a meter, can start to dissolve right now. Because you are no longer in the dark. You now understand the why. You know why that healthy breakfast of oatmeal and banana was sending you on a roller coaster. You understand why that full-fat yogurt is a far better choice than the fat-free version, that you see the candy bar hiding inside the protein bar. I know this can feel like a lot of information. It can feel like you have to change everything. But please, don't let overwhelm creep in. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. It's about making one better choice at your next meal. Maybe it's swapping your juice for a glass of water with lemon. Maybe it's having an apple with almond butter instead of an apple alone. Maybe it's choosing a salad for lunch instead of a sandwich. Every single one of those small, conscious decisions is a vote for yourself. It's a declaration that you are in charge. It is a powerful step toward reclaiming your energy, your mental clarity, and your independence. This journey isn't about restriction. It's about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the confusing rules and the processed junk and rediscovering the simple, profound joy of nourishing your body with real food. You have the knowledge. You have the power. You can do this. I truly hope this deep dive has been valuable for you. If it opened your eyes or gave you even one piece of actionable advice, please take a moment to click that thumbs up like button. It's a small gesture, but it tells YouTube that this information is important, and it helps us reach so many more seniors who need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you never miss our next video. We are building a community here, a place dedicated to aging with strength, dignity, and a whole lot of knowledge. Remember, every meal is an opportunity to heal. Stay strong, stay informed, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.